Hello, everyone. Coming up here tonight, here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Change is in the air. I mean, change is in the air as things are about to shake up. Once again, the WWE Draft, the 2024 edition, with stars from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, will be having a new home as the draft continues. Here's who's going to be eligible. AJ Styles. We'll talk about coming up. AJ Styles eligible. Carmelo Hayes. A lot of stars eligible. We'll get to it coming up. Speaking of AJ Styles will have the contract signed with the new WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes sit down in his first championship defense against challenger AJ Styles, who's another former champion, for their undisputed championship match at Backlash coming up in next week. Look at that. Also, too, we get to the savage attack from Kevin Owens. What's next for the new bloodline, Solo and Tama Tonga, in a tag team match? Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio join forces to take on the Angel Garza and Broto. All this and more. Let's get the draft started right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show, special edition of this ring report, of the SmackDown ring report for the WWE Draft. I'm your host, as always, Kenny Dixon. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe and share. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. We are here for the WWE Draft, the SmackDown edition. SmackDown will host the draft, and following Monday, Raw will host on Kansas City. So, the draft is here. A lot of other superstars. Here are the rules of the draft. 8 superstars from Raw, SmackDown, NXT are eligible for superstars. 4 rounds for SmackDown, 6 rounds for Raw this Monday. 4 draft picks per round. Champions on each brand are protected. So no, they are exempt, protected. So you know what I mean. SmackDown picks first tonight. Raw picks first Monday. The roster is locked on May 6th. The general managers and their consultants and tell them, hey, we don't want this pick. We want to go with another pick. So hey, keep that in mind. All right, we get to this. Paul Heyman kicked off the show to inform us that Roman Reigns, the former undisputed champion, will not be drafted. He withdraw from the draft. Roman Reigns will not be part of the draft due to his stats. We don't know what's going on with Roman Reigns. Since losing to Cody Rhodes earlier this month at WrestleMania 40. So Paul Heyman made that announcement that Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns will not be on SmackDown, hence for the near future. So Paul Heyman made that clear tonight that Roman Reigns will not be part of the draft. We probably won't see Roman until later on this summer, probably around SummerSlam. What's going on with the bloodline, but we'll get to Paul Heyman a little bit later on the show. But we kicked off with this. The WWE champion, Cody Rhodes, and Triple H, the WWE executive, the head of creative, were in the house, and Cody and Triple H shoot the breeze, if you want to say that. Triple H and Cody talked about the draft, and they did the picks. And what an impressive picks it was. Bianca Belair was the first pick. Bianca Belair stays on SmackDown. Bianca Belair, with her career highlights, a 3-time women's champion, the longest reigning women's champion in the modern era at 419 days, an All-American track and field star. So Bianca comes out number 1 for SmackDown. It was kind of a rare pick. Raw's pick was main event Jey Uso. Jey Uso, who's been a proven commodity for himself. Jey Uso, the number 1 contender for the World Championship at Backlash. Jey Uso could be the face of the Raw brand going forward. His brother, Jimmy, injured and has an injury going on. Jey Ho is a 9-time tag team champion. He has the longest reigning tag team championship reign in 622 days with his brother Jimmy. So Jey with that commendable aspect. Speaking on down the first round, Carmelo Hayes, a blue chipper, in my opinion, a future world champion. Carmelo Hayes, the former NXT champion, two-time North American champion, and 2001 breakout tournament winner, Carmelo Hayes, drafted to SmackDown. Ever since being on NXT, Carmelo Hayes finds himself a new home on SmackDown. Speaking of that, former world champion, Grand Slam champion, the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion, NXT champion, Seth Rollins, and the Royal Rumble Money in Bank winner, Seth Rollins, with all those career highlights. Who can't say that's an impressive resume in my book? Carmelo, Seth Rollins, who's on the injured list right now. Seth will stay on Raw. Seth been a commodity, a fitting tribute to staying on Raw. Seth Rollins keeps his talents on Monday Night Raw. So congratulations to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, like I said, this was the first round pick, and that tells you a lot. Bianca Belair stays on SmackDown. Main event Jey Uso stays on Raw. Carmelo Hayes moves to NXT to SmackDown. Seth Rollins keeps his talents on Raw. So their first round pick was phenomenal. Top choices, which they had to stay on, and which they did. Congratulations to all on that draft. But speaking of that, no one, Carmelo Hayes couldn't wait. He wanted to shoot his shot. I not mean shoot his shot, but shoot his shot at the WWE champion, Cody Rhodes. He made a target at Cody Rhodes saying, "You said yourself that you wanted folks to come out here and challenge you. I'm gonna be the first to challenge you." And Cody accepted. So we'll see that match later on tonight. Cody accepted Carmelo's challenge. Cody wants to be a fighting champion, but it'll be a non-title match. So Cody Rhodes will get that opportunity. Cody Rhodes will fight. We'll meet Carmelo Hayes later on in the show. We'll see that coming up. Cody Rhodes having his moment. Well, speaking of that, Cody had to sign the contract with AJ Styles to make it official for their championship match at Backlash for the WWE Championship. And what that was, Cody did not swing back. Cody wanted to show that he is the one that wants to show AJ Styles, Corey Graves monitoring this event. Corey Graves knows well as I do that, hey, we're going to see that and how that's going to be. So we'll get to see that Backlash, but we know next week there will be a face-to-face between Cody and AJ next week. So we'll see that. And then speaking of the history, AJ has history with the Rhodes family. AJ took on Dusty Rhodes nearly 20 years ago. I remember that on the old NWA TNA days when they had pay-per-view and stuff. So Cody wants to go up in that legacy, and he will go up that legacy against AJ Styles. AJ win against, like CM Punk win against Rhodes. Braun Breaker was in action tonight. Braun Breaker did not miss a beat. Braun Breaker speared Cedric Alexander, and Braun Breaker got the win over Cedric Alexander in 15 seconds, which could prove to be his last SmackDown match. He had a really short stint on SmackDown, but hey, we'll get to that coming up right now. As we had we know that Randy Orton will be staying on SmackDown. Randy Orton, the former WWE champion, held almost 20 championships in WWE, a former two-time Royal Rumble winner, and a Grand Slam winner. Randy Orton stays on the blue brand. He's been on the blue brand ever since you know when. Since returning back in January. So Randy Orton is back. He's returning since the Survivor Series. Liv Morgan makes her staying on Raw. Liv Morgan defeated Ronda Rousey for the Women's Championship, a career highlight that many people won't say that Liv did. A two-time Women's Tag Team Champion, Money in Bank winner. Liv Morgan stays on Raw. A shocking development right here. Braun Breaker, the former NXT champion, two-time NXT champion, Division One standout. Braun Breaker son of WWE Hall of Famer Rick Steiner, uncle to Scott Steiner. Braun moves from SmackDown to Raw. So Braun's going to take his talents to Raw. And another shocking move as well. Nia Jax, the former women's champion, tag team champion, and former model, will go to Raw to SmackDown. Nia Jax making her move on the women's division on SmackDown. I said immediately, I said they're gonna put her around the women's championship match against Bayley. And we'll talk about it a little bit later. But this is the picture right here. Randy Orton, Braun Breaker, Nia Jax, and Liv Morgan all are coming to their new home and destination. Randy staying on SmackDown, Braun moving from NXT to SmackDown to Raw, Nia moving from Raw to SmackDown, and Liv staying on SmackDown. So hey, well, we saw that tonight as well. Another addition as well. We know that Cedric Alexander and Fusion Miles still talking. We don't know what's going on. But they're gonna be a new tag team or what, but only time will tell. We'll see how this is gonna go. I think Sid and Tawushi Miles gonna be doing something. We'll see. Speaking of that, um, Nick Aldis said something about Tiffy time, and I guess we did get some Tiffy time indeed. Tiffany Stratton ain't impatient like any person would be, and had that anxiety that she wants to be next in line for a women's championship match. Nick Aldis saying that we'll see. It was Tiffy time indeed, so we'll get to that in a minute. Also, too, Paul Heyman, the manager of the Bloodline, Paul Heyman, was waiting for Solo. Paul Heyman came out there. Paul Heyman was waiting for Solo. Solo asked the question to Paul Heyman: did we get drafted? And Paul Heyman had to explain to Solo that no, we didn't get drafted because Roman withdrew from the movie, withdraw from the group. He did withdraw from the group. Roman. Solo was a little bit upset, angry, you name it. Solo Sokola looks like he had like he wants to go at it. I think Solo couldn't wait that longer and stuff. So we'll see what's going on with Solo. With Solo and then Tomatonga attacked Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out there to get some retribution. Won't believe who helped Kevin Owens. Randy Orton helped Kevin Owens get that retribution. Randy Orton did so. So we're going to see this at Backlash, a tag team match. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens teaming up to take on Tomatonga and Solo Sikoa, a tag team match in Backlash. So we'll see that match next week at Backlash. It'll be an impressive tag team match. I like Solo Sikoa and Tomatonga. They mean from the start, mean from the jump. Tomatonga and Solo Sikoa mean business, and they're going to mean business, and they got the right people to mean business with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. They'll have them next week. Speaking of tag teams, we know that the women's tag team championships will be defended at Backlash. As I knew from the start, Bianca Belair and Jade will team up to take on the Kabuki Warriors, known as Asuka and Kyrie Singh of Damage Control, and for the women's champ for the Damage Control's women's tag team titles. I'll tell you next week who I think is going to leave out with the women's tag team championships next week at Backlash for the predicted outcome special. So look for that coming up next week. Um, this was a face-to-face encounter, so we'll see how this is going to go next week. Well, we know this. This is the next third round of the draft right here. LA Knight. LA Knight stays on SmackDown. LA Knight recently defeated AJ Styles at WrestleMania to secure himself on SmackDown. Also, too, the name breakout star of he was ESPN's breakout star 2023, the two-time Slam Award winner. LA Knight stays on SmackDown. Ricochet, another draft pick, stays on Raw. He's a former Intercontinental United States champion. Competing, and he's about to compete for the finals of becoming its Speed inaugural champion. So we could see Ricochet being the WWE Speed Champion. We'll see. But the Bloodline got their wish. Solo Sikoa and Tamatanga and Paul Heyman all got drafted. Solo couldn't wait that long. Solo saying he wants to be drafted to a show. I think Solo made it clear to Paul Heyman, you better start making some play moves or something, or we're gonna be start making some ruckus. The Bloodline, unfortunately, will stay on SmackDown. The Bloodline stays on the blue brand as they want to stay on trying to up the ante. And the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Tamatanga and Paul Heyman, all three except Roman Reigns, are part of SmackDown. Makes believe Roman is going to stay on SmackDown. Roman just wasn't part of this because they just had nothing for Roman to do. Sheamus, the former WWE champion, stays on Raw. Sheamus recently got on Raw, and Sheamus kind of a little bit budgier than ever before. Sheamus got a lot of accolades: a King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble winner, the fastest World Championship victory in WrestleMania history. In 2012, Sheamus defeated Daniel Bryan to win the World Championship. Sheamus got a lot of accolades in WWE with that King of the Ring, Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank. Sheamus has done it all, and he stays on the red brand. Sheamus, you see right here, this is the round 3 version right here. LA Knight stays on SmackDown. Ricochet stays on Raw. The Bloodline stays on SmackDown. Sheamus remains on Raw. So no changes left to be. Everybody got drafted the same way on a new ship, on a new plane, a new level. Well, we get to the a lot going on as well. The Dudley Boys was part of the draft. The Dudley Boys reunited, and it feels so good. The Dudley Boys back in action. So hey, we'll see how this is going to go. So how that's going to be. We told you the protected picks, the Raw champions and the SmackDown champions. Bayley, the WWE Women's Champion. Cody Rhodes, the WWE Champion. Logan Paul, the United States Champion. A-Town, Downtown, the WWE Tag Team Champions. All those champions from SmackDown stays intact. The Raw champions. World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest. Women's World Champion Becky Lynch. Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. World Tag Team Champions the Awesome Truth, Miz and R-Truth stays on Raw. So the champions were exempt from this tonight. And champions, I mean, it makes sense to keep the champions exempt. They don't need to be part of this ruckus and stuff. So hey, we'll see. But they didn't say about Bianca and the rest of them about the women's tag team championship being exempt. So who knows what Bianca gonna do and how that's gonna be if they win the women's tag team championship. Well, speaking of that, we know that the next picks were for them was Ted Long and JBL, two SmackDown legends. If you ask me, Ted Long and JBL announced the fourth and final picks right here. AJ Styles, the number one contender for the WWE Championship, stays on SmackDown. Grand Slam winner, two-time world champion. AJ stays on the blue brand. The Alpha Academy stays on Raw. Chad Gable, the leader, he has inspirations of becoming the Intercontinental Champion. Someday he wants to get his group back in order and land Otis a Money in the Bank winner. Who can forget about that 4 years ago? I was shocked as that. Tozawa, a former cruiserweight champion, um, Maxine Dupree. We see that Andrade will be moving from Raw to SmackDown. Andrade will be part of this situation with probably with Rey Mysterio and the rest of what's going on. Returned to WWE at the Royal Rumble, the former United States and NXT champion Andrade, making it clear he's moving back to SmackDown. I think Andrade did more better on SmackDown than he did on Raw, but Andrade's an all-around wrestler. Kiana James. Kiana James, a former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, signed with NXT in 2020. Signature deals moves is the 401k and the deal breaker. Kiana James making her announcement known. Kiana James even was at the NXT Performance Center and she got congratulated by her peers and becoming Raw's newest superstar. Kiana James will make that leap and make that step of being the next signee from NXT to Raw. So a lot of NXT representation was tonight. We saw that Kiana James will be moving to Raw from NXT. Andrade will move from Raw to SmackDown. Alpha Academy stays on Raw. SmackDown, AJ Styles stays on with the house that AJ Styles built, SmackDown. But we see a lot of NXT representation. We saw Kiana James tonight. Kiana James will be um will be on Raw going forward. A lot of NXT representation. Braun Breaker, who recently was in NXT, went from NXT to SmackDown now to Raw. And Carmelo Hayes, he's making that leap as well. So Carmelo Hayes doing the same. Carmelo getting himself ready and getting himself together. And Carmelo knows a thing or two about being a champion. But speaking of being a champion, Ted Long, a former SmackDown general manager, to the current SmackDown general manager, Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis told Teddy to make the announcement. Teddy made the announcement that at Backlash, Tiffany Stratton will get a shot at the women's championship, but Tiffany Stratton will be going against Bayley and Naomi in a triple threat match for the women's championship. So we'll see that match at Backlash as well. Also, too, we'll see this match at Backlash. Um, a tag team match between Randy Orton and Kevin Owens teaming up against Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa, 1-on-1 in a tag team match. In a tag team match, we'll see that in a tag team match. So there's a lot of elements and a lot of parts going into this as well. Well, we get to the main event. We told you earlier tonight, Carmelo Hayes called out WWE champion Cody Rhodes. Cody said he's not gonna duck no one, duck nobody. He's gonna go headstrong, and that's what Cody Rhodes did tonight. Cody Rhodes went against Carmelo Hayes in the main event of SmackDown. Carmelo took Cody to the limit. Cody tried to take Carmelo to the limit as well. Carmelo put up a harsh effort, but Cody Rhodes won with the crossroads. Cody Rhodes continued his championship ways and raising up the championship that he now has. And Dusty will be proud of him today. I expect that from that. But Cody was about to backstep until AJ Styles shook Cody Rhodes' hand. I thought they could have waited until Backlash to do that, but I guess they didn't want to wait. So we can see how that's going to be heading that way sooner rather than later. But Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles will meet next week at Backlash. We'll have predicted outcome on who I believe is going to leave out Backlash with the championship on the line. We'll see that. And on honorable mention, we told you this. Kevin, Karrion Kross said he doesn't give a, you know what, on what show he is on. If he stays on SmackDown or he goes to Raw, he's gonna bring violence with him, and that's what he did. He tried to bring violence to the club, and we'll see how that's gonna go for him heading that way as well. So a lot going on tonight. This draft was pretty good. It was pretty good. I won't say it wasn't bad nor worse. We got the rounds for round 1, got the rounds for round 2 and 3 and 4. So it's been a pretty good night for the draft. The draft will continue this week on Raw, and the draft will conclude, and the draft won't begin until May 5th after Backlash. We'll see a new Raw, a new SmackDown, and perhaps a new NXT. So we'll see how this all is going to play out throughout the whole draft this week. All right, y'all. We're going to end the pro wrestling show with the American Nightmare Cody and AJ Styles shaking hands. As a matter of respect, that could be the problem. That could be the case. We'll see. So for me being Kendrick Dix, saying so long, we'll see you tomorrow for the Collision Ring Report. See you then.